Okay, a reference angle is always positive. It's always a positive number. It's always acute. Do you know that math term? What is an acute angle? It's going to be something that's smaller than 90. And it's always to the closest x-axis. Okay, when we talk about angles, we actually start on the right-hand side and we rotate in that direction. So it's counterclockwise. That's how angles always start. So if my starting position is here, this is 0 degrees. How much have you moved if you are right on the top there? 90. How much have you moved if you're all the way on this side? 180. If you're on the bottom, 270. And if you've done a whole circle of rotation, 360. Okay? So that's the basics of how you move about a circle in trigonometry. Okay, so draw the angle 108 degrees. So I'm starting here. I'm going to go, this is 90, so 108 would be about right there, and then I'm going to kind of draw like a clock arm. So when you draw angles, I need you to draw me kind of your clock arm from the middle, and I need you to show me the path that you swiveled.
Wait, can you go back to that chart quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks. Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Okay, this angle is, how do I draw negative 125 degrees? What does negative mean, do you think? I'm going to start rotating in this direction. I'm going to go down. So from the start, I'm going to go down, backwards. So if I go backwards 125, where would I land? Does that make sense? Okay, 400 degrees. 400 degrees. What do you know about that number right now? Just what's your first instinct? It's more than 360. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, how much more is it? What is that in your head of mental math? 40 degrees? So that means I'm going to spin a full circle plus 40 more degrees. So that's going to be like this. Does that make sense as a swivel? And then that's where I land. So do you see why it's important to show my swivel? Because somebody who didn't show the swivel, I wouldn't know that you went 400 degrees. Okay, the last one is 226. So 90, 180. So I'm landing somewhere in that zone, right? Okay, when we talk about trig, you're going to need to know that there's 4 quadrants. So in graphing, this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. And you know that this is where we start, right? 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. So it follows that pattern. The quadrants follow that rotation of the start and swiveling around. In the quadrants, you're going to hear this saying, and you're going to use it over and over and over again. You're not going to forget it. It's called astica. So A, S, T, and C, astica. And if you want something silly to remember it, I say all soup turns cold. And that's kind of how I remember it. I know. What are you talking about?
All soup turns cold. Why is that not proper?
What's wrong with my English? Well, doesn't soup turn cold if you leave it?
True.
Okay. What does this mean? So the A is standing for all trig. The S, okay, all trig are positive. I should write that, I guess. The S stands for sine is positive. The T means that the tangent is positive. And the C, what's the last trig thing? Cosine is positive. So what does that mean? Okay, pick me an angle that's in quadrant 1. Give me any number that would be in quadrant 1. 56. So if I did the sine of 56, it equals positive. Cos of 56 equals positive. Tan of 56 equals positive. They're all positive. Pick me a number in quadrant 2. What's an angle that would be in there?
104.
104 is in this quadrant. So the sine of 104 equals positive. Cos of 104, guess what this should be? Negative. The tan of 104 should be negative. So just sine is positive. I didn't write that, but does that make sense? That the cos is negative, the tan is negative, right? That's what it would also mean. So in quadrant 3, if I picked an angle there, tan of that angle would be positive, but what else? Sine of it would be negative, cos of it would be negative, right? That's what it would do. So, if I asked you this, 200 degrees, do you know which quadrant you are in if you're 200 degrees? You're in quadrant 3. Okay? Without your calculator, the sine of 200, would it be positive or negative? Negative. The cos of 200, what would it be, positive or negative? Negative. The tan of 200 would be positive. Okay, and I'm going to try it. The sine of 200, negative. Cos of 200, negative. Tan of 200, positive. Our prediction was right. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of a cheat sheet. Okay, sine. Where is sine positive? Which two? 1 and 2, and then they're negative. So sine divides up as a top bottom. Cosine. Which two quadrants is cos positive in?
Quadrant 4.
Quadrant 4 and quadrant 1. So therefore, where's cos negative?
Left side.
On the 2 and the 3?
They're all
What's that? They're all positive in quadrant 1. That's the A. They're all positive there. So cos splits up left and right.
big.
Tan. Where is tan positive? 1 and 3. So then it's negative like that. So tan splits up diagonally. Okay, so here's my question. Where is sine? What does this symbol mean? Is this a greater than or less than sign? Greater than 0. So where is sine positive? And cos is negative. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Where is sine positive? Where's sine positive?
Number 2.
1 and 2. There's always two quadrants that something's happening in, right? 2 where it's positive, 2 where it's negative. Where is cos negative? 2 and 3. Is there a quadrant where both things happened in? So my answer is quadrant 2. Okay, this is why these little cheat sheets things are really helpful. Top, bottom, left, right, diagonals. Where is tan negative? 2 and 4. Where sine is negative, so those are the bottoms. So where is the quadrant where something and something, they were both happening? Quadrant 4. Okay, do you want to see if you can do the next two on your own? Actually, I'm not even going to draw a picture on the next one. Cos is positive and sine is positive. Which quadrant could that only be? Quadrant 1. That's the only quadrant where there's multiple things that are positive, right?